Hello!
Hi!
It's Caroline and Faye here for our buddy review of Vicious by V.E. Schwab. So, the synopsis of this book we will start with. Victor and Eli started out as college roommates, brilliant, arrogant, lonely boys who recognise the same ambition in each other, a shared interest in adrenaline, near-death experiences and seemingly supernatural events reveals an intriguing possibility that under the right conditions, someone could develop extraordinary abilities. But when their thesis moves from the academic to the experimental, things go horribly wrong.
10 years later, Victor breaks out of prison, determined to catch up with his old friend, now foe, aided by a young girl with a stunning ability. Meanwhile, Eli is on a mission to eradicate every other superpowered person that he can find, aside from his sidekick, an enigmatic woman with an unbreakable will. Armed with terrible power on both sides, driven by the memory of betrayal and loss, the arch-nemesis have set a course for revenge, but who will be left alive at the end?
So, we're going to start with the easiest question of them all. Initial thoughts.
Yay! Good!
Loved it!
So good!
Loved
Brilliant.
it.
Absolutely fantastic, which is kind of a relief because it was recommended to us.
And it was hyped so much.
But it lives up to the hype. Yay!
It's awesome. No, brilliant. I started reading it and I've already mentioned this on my own channel, but I figured here's okay too. We got halfway through and I was loving it so much that I decided I wanted my own copy, so I went out and bought a copy of the book so I could finish it. And now that I finished it, I was like, yes, I'm glad, because now I can reread it and 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 reread it again and again and again and again
And maybe again.
just one more time. So yeah, basically amazing story that if you haven't read,
Read it.
go do.
It's fantastic.
So, what are your thoughts on the characters? Who's your favourite?
I don't know that I have a particular favourite character. I have to say I enjoyed them all. The good and the not so good. I thought they were all really interesting, and actually I've got a bit of a soft spot for Mitch. I thought he was brilliant.
I loved him.
Mitch is
So
this
cute.
big hulking tattooed guy, and you know, but he's actually really intelligent. He's quite a real softie as well, and he's got this thing for chocolate milk, which is just brilliant. But I really loved how the author played with that idea of our perceptions of people, and how we make these snap judgments, and how actually appearances can be deceptive, and that someone's appearance you'll judge whether they're a good person or a bad person, whether you can trust them, whether you feel safe around them, and actually our initial perceptions of someone's appearance has absolutely has no bearing on who they are as a person. And I thought that the book played around with that quite a lot.
Yeah. I really like Sydney. I think that she was such a strong character as well, and she had so much going on, so much to deal with, and I think it just came out really well in the story, and sort of was a nice little part of the story. And I feel like especially the bit where she was told to go to somewhere safe.
Oh,
I thought that was the most amazing thing.
I well done at that point. I actually went, oh, that's just, oh, yes.
So cute.
I love how she kind of brought everybody together.
Yes, yeah.
And how they kind of created this little family.
Yeah, I love the little family. You know.
And yeah, and how kind of Victor kind of reluctantly got pulled into it in his own special way.
Yeah.
Was really kind of, yeah.
No, I like that. So, another question. What about the style of the book?
Brilliant. I really love it. I actually quite like these books that kind of play around with the timing and the order of events. I love this whole, so you start off with the book, I can't remember, does it start off 10 years ago?
Yeah.
And then it comes to the present day, and then all the chapters are at varying times, and as the story starts last night, then goes back 10 years, and then it constantly changes between the kind of the present day and what's happened over the last 10 years. And I love the idea that you've got the story, and then as the story progresses, you're given a little bit more bits of information, but it feels kind of natural because you're just being the chronological. you know.
Yeah, you get it chronologically eventually. Like you can work it out in your
the way
head.
it's just So you're just getting layer upon layer. So you've got a rough idea right from the beginning. You kind of know what's happened, but you just get more kind of layers and more depth. The story is added with each chapter, and I love that it was kind of multi point of view as well. I thought it was really important.
Take away my point. But
Sorry.
yes, I really, really, really loved the style of it. I love books that do that make you think. It's one of those things that I like about watching a film and then reading the book afterwards, because you just get that extraness. And this book basically just had the extraness already waiting for you to get, which is awesome. And also the point of view reminded me a lot of one of the reasons I love Mary Bachman's writing so much is that you get to see every single character's point of view. There isn't a set sort of, there's the main character and you see more of him, but you get every view. So you get the idea of what the villain is the villain, why, you know, or who the villain is, and I really like that. It made the story so much more compelling and easy to read, and I just think the writing style as well was just immaculate. I really, really enjoyed it. It was so easy to get, and even the hard bits that were like, I don't understand what she's talking about, it doesn't matter because the writing style was just so well written.
I'm talking about films. I'm generally not when I'm reading, I'm not one of these people that kind of visualises the whole thing generally. But with this book, I could visualise it as a movie, and I thought we'd make a fantastic movie. It's very much. I love the idea that you've got these Marvel and other comic book characters out there that are obviously very well established. And I love the idea that this book is almost like a prequel to that sort of thing. You can see how this was, and
one of my recs actually for this book would have been to watch the TV show Heroes.
Okay.
So if you haven't, do.
Okay.
Because it's very similar, and that's again, so lots of people have different powers and supernatural powers and then things, one person doing one thing and all this sort of stuff. It's definitely very similar, and it works as a TV show. I think this would work as a film because obviously it's so to the point. Whereas Heroes was just like intangible, going on forever. But, I agree. It definitely would have worked as a film.
I love the ending and the way you kind of go. It's almost like a da da da.
Yeah,
so you can
ambiguous ending. Yeah,
what could happen next?
So next question. What haven't we talked about? Powers. Let's talk about some powers.
Yes.
So, what did you think about the superpowers? How did you think it went? This whole concept of the book.
I love the concept behind it. What can we talk about without spoiling it?
Yeah, so
I like how the
that's hard. Let's just I liked the idea that being extraordinary. At first, when they said EOs, I thought they were talking like aliens. Oopsies. But then I like the idea that, you know, not everyone has the same power, and they're all different.
I love
depending on how they got the powers, depending on what the power was. I thought that was really interesting.
I love that. I love that uniqueness, and I love how that kind of simple concept explains such a variety of powers. And I also love the fact that she, the author, explored the downside of those powers.
Yes, it wasn't just these are brilliant and amazing.
Because you always, you know, I don't know if you've ever played that game, like if you could have one superpower for the day, what would you do? Would you be invisible, or would you be able to fly? And I love the idea that she looked at, you know, that would be amazing for a day, but then what happens 2-3 years down the line, and you've still got this power, and how does it affect your life, like positively and negatively? Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting.
I think that's a really
particularly with Sienna. That seems like it would be an awesome superpower, this particular character. But actually, you could see very clearly how having that superpower in the long run would be very wearing on a person.
I think Eli's actually is the most wearing of them all. Especially when Victor gets to his weakness, because...
Sorry, we don't want to spoil it for you. You just need to read it yourself.
Basically, yeah.
Read it yourself and then come and talk to us about it.
But I definitely think that the whole superpowers and everything was so unique, and I think it's so well written as well, and just made the book that much more interesting and intriguing. And one last thing I will say is actually, if you haven't, and I don't think you have, so you should do, there's a short story that is connected with the book, which is on Tor.com's website, and basically it's sort of like a short story that goes alongside this, and it's basically the story of another EO and how it's born and how it's affected his life, and that's what made me want to read the book. So definitely read that if you haven't already. I think that's really good, and definitely if you like that, then you'll probably definitely like the book. So there's, you know, that side of things as well.
And this is my first Victoria Schwab book as well, so I'm definitely going to be checking out the rest of her books.
Yeah,
definitely.
no, definitely the same.
And yeah, thanks, Caitlin.
Thanks for the rep.
We loved it.
Brilliant. We could be friends again.
Yay.
Okay, so I think that's everything,
Yeah.
which is crazy because we never get through a review this quickly.
Weird.
So
Must have
yay,
forgotten
us.
something.
Yeah, we have.
Hurrah.
So lastly is to tell you what we'll be reading for our next buddy review. We are going to mention that this may appear in May, or it may appear in June, because we've got quite a busy May, so it depends, but it will. The next buddy review you see will be this book, and that is, drumroll please, Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea by April Genevieve Tucholsky.
Something.
This book right here. So we'll be reading this and hopefully getting a review out in May or June, so keep an eye out for that. Other than that, we'll be on Bookist Brits on our normal days, and including I will definitely be here for the book club on Tuesday for the testing, so come back for that, guys. And other than that, oh my god, we're done. We are done.
What has happened?
This is like short. We're gonna miss you guys, so we're just gonna say bye.
Bye.
Miss you.